Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper. Just popping on today with a quick video to talk you through how to make this card. I've been having some technical issues with my mobile phone and the storage on it, so there was quite a long-winded video for this card, but unfortunately it's been deleted. So I'm just going to talk you through what I've used to make this card. So we used the really nice jar of flowers stamp set, which has got multiple flower images, some jars, sort of half a jar that you can use for a vase, and some of the little bits and pieces that go with it. It's designed exactly as its name says, to be a jar of flowers, and it comes from the Flowers for All Seasons suite. So you've got images in here for, so there's tulips for spring. There are sunflowers, which would be great for the autumn or the summer. Also great for a wedding. They're really popular, sunflowers, at the minute in bouquets. And then you've got these two sort of generic flower images. This one reminds me of cabbage roses, and I think that would look quite nice in Christmas colours as well. And the matching designer series paper that goes with this suite comes in a 6x6 paper stack, and they literally are Flowers for All Seasons. In there are papers for Christmas, spring, summer, you name it, there's probably a paper in there for it. Okay, so what also comes with this is a matching mason jar punch, and that's what I've used to make the shaker part of this card, along with the mini mason jar domes, which you can see here, which give us a 3D shaker effect. Okay, so I've made this card in two varieties. I'm just going to move the stamp set to one side for the minute. So here are the two cards that I made. This one has got stems from the flowers in it, and it has got some shaker bits in there, but they've got a little bit stuck. This one's got a few different coloured shaker elements in it. So I hope it didn't make you feel dizzy there, just shaking that. So I'm going to talk you through how I made these cards. So first of all, we have got a standard C6 base in Magenta Madness, which is one of the new in colours. And that is half of an A4 sheet if you're in the UK, scored and folded in half. Okay, and then I have embossed this white Whisper White matte layer, which is cut at 14.3 by 10.5, and I've embossed it with one of our new embossing folders. These folders are designed to fit both of our new die cutting machines, so they're a little bit narrower, and they will fit the mini die cutting and embossing machine that we now have, and that is really handy for crafting on the go because you're not lugging around a great big machine like the Big Shot. Okay, so I've run this through the embossing folder. These are more like the old-fashioned embossing folders that are thinner. So we now have these thinner ones, and we have the 3D textured embossing folders. If you are struggling with layering up your plates and what have you for your die cutting machine, drop me a message underneath this video and I will try and get back to you and help with how I do it on my die cutting machine. Okay, so first things first, we have the white mat, which I have punched a hole in the shape of the mason jar because that then fits perfectly around the mason jar shaker domes. The shaker domes are adhesive on the front and they are also adhesive on the back. Now obviously once I'd punched a hole in the white layer, you would have been able to see the pink card base that was underneath it. So what I've done, I've stamped a mason jar image and I have punched that out as well. You could just stamp it and then use a piece of card underneath the aperture, but I find if you do that you end up with a raised edge. So what I've done is I have stamped it and punched it, and then in order to line it up, what I've done is I've laid the Whisper White mat onto the front of my card, and I've just used a pencil just to mark around the bottom here and the corners, and I think I put a line up here each side as well just to make sure that I got it in the right place. I've taken off the Whisper White mat again, and then I've stuck the stamped mason jar image within my pencil lines to the front of the card. Then what I've done is I've added some sequins. You could use whatever you've got, sequins or little bits and pieces, and I have put those on top of my punched layer, and then I have removed the backing from the shaker dome and I have stuck it over my punched layer that is already adhered to the front of the card base. Okay, so on top of that I've then added the Whisper White base. Once you peel off the front of the mason jar shaker dome, be very aware that that is very sticky. So once you've got that stuck down there, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so make sure you've lined up your stamped image behind it properly first. Okay, what you can do in order to do that before you stick anything down is offer up the white mat and then drop in the punched shape that you want to stick to your pink card base, and carefully lift the mat away, and then you should have it in the right place. Okay, so I've then stamped the flower image, and I've gone for the one with the sort of cabbage roses, and I've used an aqua painter and my Stampin' Up ink pads, which are water based, in order to colour them in. If you turn the ink pad over and give it a squeeze, when you open it you should have some ink on the inside of the ink pad cover, which you can pick up and use. And in order to get a paler colour, you can see here the difference between the two cards. I've got a darker colour on this one and a paler colour on this one, and I think I swapped colours, but if you wanted to water the colour down a little bit, then you can just squirt a little bit of water onto the ink in your lid of your ink pad, which becomes a palette. Okay, I've stamped them in basic grey, so the lines aren't as bold as they would have been if I'd have stamped them in black. Okay, and then what I've done is I've used some of this lovely gingham ribbon, which is part of a set of 3, which also coordinates with that suite, and I'll just show you those. We've got some lovely white linen trim, we've got some baker's twine, which is blue, white and silver, and then we've got this lovely gingham trim, which is really pretty. Okay, and I've just tied a bow, and what I've done is I've just stuck the flowers on with 2 layers, I don't know if you can see, 2 layers of dimensionals, there we are, behind, in order to raise it up enough to be almost level with the top of the mason jar. And then I have stuck my bow on top of that with a glue dot. You could use a dimensional if you don't have glue dots. Okay, so I hope you like that card. Quite quick and simple to put together, but quite effective. And I will be back soon with a men's card using that set. So keep tuned and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.